Okay, I've got a fancy shirt on today. Look at me, looking fab. Welcome back, everybody. We are going to be building more apartments for people because there's not enough room to have everyone here as single family housing. Yeah, that is happening a little bit when I zoom out. I'm just gonna hope that that's okay and the game doesn't break. So let's just push that to the side. If the series ends unexpectedly, then yeah, we'll just sort of deal with that when it comes. I did change the train line. I actually need to raise this up. Didn't need to do that so that it looks a little bit better. That one to that one, and then you can use this fantastic mod over here to do that. And I'll need to fix it up a little bit, but that works a lot better. Let me just move some of these rocks around so they're not jutting through. Push, and that one there, and then down there. That should work better. Yeah, that's kind of cool. And I did change some of the greenery to, because it sort of reset itself, and some of the greenery was looking a bit funky, so I've re-added some more to make this place look a little bit more alive. But yeah, so now the train line is a lot more at grade everywhere it can be, and that obviously leads to some slower speeds because there's higher turning in that, but that can be rectified in a future redevelopment. But speaking of redevelopment, we are going to be dealing with this area right here. Get rid of some of these trees. And I reckon I'm going to do something. This will be again like a new, there was stuff here before, and now we just kind of bulldozing that shit out of here and putting down some new apartments. So it's going to be similar to our Ivory or whatever this place, Cypress area, Cypress Street. Is that called oh, that's the pedestrian area. But I've just extended the pedestrian area to be this whole area because it needs to just connect with everything. Florence Heights, I guess that's what that's called for now. But oh, I forgot the texture that was this manicured lawn disappeared as well, and I forgot to put it back in. I have to do that as well. Again, just a few things in the past couple of months just kind of disappeared all at once. I need to pick it up that I that disappeared now. Same with over here, because I had some just a little bit of greenery here and it kind of disappeared, and I'd just like to just scatter this about again, and it kind of just looks a little bit better. And then if something needs to go there at some point, we can change it up. Anyway, let's get onto this area over here. I need to put down or find the apartments that I want to use. I think I'll use, because I've got a few different sets. I will use another one because I like these areas where I use the same building multiple times. It can be kind of like a distinct thing about this city. So I'm going to do the same thing again here. Let me find out which ones I can use. So there's the Shangri-La. These triangle ones. Those are pretty much kind of exactly what I'm looking for. So these could definitely be the ones to go for. But I've also got these ones. It doesn't really matter because I can use other ones other places anyway. But are there any more other sets? I said I have a lot of sets. I don't have that many. Like I've got these. They're like a set, but not like big apartment buildings like this. Any more? RCM. Some of them are out of sync, so this one looks like they might be part of a set, but they're like being split up. Yes, RCMI, so this is a square one as well. I reckon I'm just gonna, I'm okay with this one. I'm just gonna use these ones, and I will probably key off this area because I think that makes sense when you're building apartments right next to here. We'd want it to be a bit more flatter, so we'll flatten this off. I will get rid of all of these houses because that wouldn't be exactly, that wouldn't be there by then. But we keep all these ones because, the areas will develop in different ways. There will definitely be a time where they're building new apartments and there's still some historical areas left over, at least in small patches. So we could keep a little around just to have as an area that ended up being protected, because I kind of like the idea of that. So what I reckon I'm going to do is key off this area. I'll find a key while we're here. I've foolishly turned on my washing machine while I was recording this, which may not be a good idea, but hopefully you guys can't hear that. And find a good one. There is this one. This one looks good. Just a kind of straight line. Yeah, that looks alright. I could work with that. And then, because it's narrow, but it gets the job done. And you kind of want it in as many straight lines as possible, I think. And then you'll get that, and then we can just do that. And then we will change the elevations around here. Did I do that okay? I think I messed anything up. And we'll actually probably raise these a little bit more. So get all these nodes, grab them, and then we'll just kind of, so if I did it to that height, that's pretty high. I don't think I want to do it quite that high, but I'll definitely level off this area a little bit. We'll also get a walking trail slash bike trail. I think bikes will take any trail anyway. So I'll grab one of these and I'll run it alongside here. Which luckily this tool here is fantastic for doing that. So I can just do that and put it right up against it, like as close as I can go. There. Maybe put down one more. It's fine. I'll need to make sure that doesn't stay like that. Move this around. Just go down in the water, please. That's kind of awkward looking. Anyway, we'll set this one to be on the ground, please. And that's caused an issue when I do that. But no issue. What I can do is force it to be there. So if I use the terraforming network, I can do the exact same thing. And be like, go along there, and we'll just put it again very close by. And then we'll get a picker tool. You just have to use all these mods together to make like an absolutely fantastic combination, but there's obviously a lot of complexity that you wouldn't want to have. That's the wrong thing I wanted. No, I want to go down, to contract, and then that will probably flood for a second. But now that is exactly what I wanted it to look like. So I can now grab our level tool and sort out this area. So flatten out this and then smooth over that connection. This road isn't obviously going to stay here, but at least have that as a reference point. Oh, and I can get rid of the sand because the sand won't be up here by now. Whether I want to keep a bit of a beach here, maybe. I probably will continue like apartments around here, but I don't know if I want to key that. Realistically, I probably do want to key it off, but you know, I'll see if I want to change it up. And I reckon this would all do with being pushed along. So I'll pull that up to there. Tell it to, hey, be the same height as that one guy, and then you're the same. You be the same height as where you came from, please. I'm going to push approximate just a tiny bit closer on all of these. So there's not that little soil gap. Okay, let me just clear out a little bit of that. We'll put some back later. So what are we going to do? Obviously, there's a bit of okay, I don't know why these are doing that. Maybe because they're not connected. That's probably what I'm thinking. What I reckon I'll do is get a... Don't know why I drink when I'm in literally the middle of a sentence. I want to sort of arrange these in a way that they kind of look natural. So I reckon maybe over here, I want it to be just in order. do something like that. I kind of like the look of that. But then you kind of don't want them all to be facing the exact same way, I don't reckon. So you face that way, you face that way, you face that way, you face that way. So now they're, oh wait, no, and you face that way. So they're all facing different ways. Which way do we want this way to be facing? Do we want the flat end facing the water, or do we want the other end facing the water? Maybe if we do like that, you get turned around like that. So now they're all facing different ways, but I think that gives a little bit more better look. And I reckon these ones could be further out, and these ones could be further in because of the way the ways facing. They could all be kind of facing towards the center, I think. So maybe we do this, even though the tall one is kind of the most desirable one, you could say. It won't be the one closest to the water. But I don't want this area to look too uniform, so we're gonna have to. I don't want to. The square again is a kind of a cool look. But I don't think I want that. I might not even want them to be all the same angle. I may actually. Yeah, but again, I did like how that one was facing the water that way. But I could do it like this. They're kind of staggered, but then they are still in a straight line. So you could just run a straight through the middle. You could do a straight down the middle that way. It's not a bad idea. So if we get some street, at least temporarily, use this one. That one's got parking, right? And then where can we just go straight down there. And I think I've got the correct. Now it doesn't matter which way is the front. It's not complaining, so it's fine. Here. And the blocks are rectangular, so they don't like line up perfectly, but that's okay. So I like the look of this, but do I reckon it's a little bit too uniform? Had one come off at 135 degrees arbitrarily, and then you also came out at 135. Could I do a like one like that, and then one like that? I quite like that as like a staggered look. I think that looks pretty cool actually. Yeah, okay, I reckon I'm gonna stick with that and then build off this way. Okay, these guys are still freaking out. I'm just gonna hook this into the highway, so hopefully that resolves that situation. And then we'll go up like that. Get rid of some of these houses so that they're not in the way, please. And then that should fix. Yes, it looks like that has indeed fixed. So great job, everybody. And then we'll continue this around here. It would be cool if there was some functional underground parking, but I do not believe that exists. There is some ways you can kind of fake it. See if we want to do that in the future, but for now we'll just pull that into there. Tell this to get rid of all of these, get rid of all those in time, and then we've got a couple of connections into here, and I reckon we'll get another one of these and pull it off from like there. Actually, let's do our straight lines first, because you always want to build in sort of straight lines if you can. But I just want to, maybe I do want to follow this road a little bit more. Maybe pull out this way. Yeah, maybe we'll do it like that. And we'll see if we want to continue that or we can pull that into there. I think that works for now. I'll get rid of some of these crosswalks because they just kind of look a bit dodge. Keep that one, and this one will straighten out, please. Kind of looks a bit neater. One over here, but then we'll keep those. It's always annoying when you get to a street and you have to cross over that way to get across. You can't cross on one side. There's only got a crossing on one side. But for the sake of just looking better for the game, I'm going to do it because this is in real life and this is a game, and part of it is that I am God and I am looking at it. So please make it look neat and tidy. I think with these roads around, you can argue if they look good. I don't think they look bad, but that's also just because that really helps hide any terrain changes around a building, because the roads will naturally taper the terrain out, whereas if you just plonk a building down, it can give those harsh edges down. So I reckon I do need a bit of this area in here. I reckon it's going to be more a pleasant, nice area. It just sounds a bit stupid thing to say, but I will need some mixed use around. So even though this would be more park, we have a cafe or something down here, a convenience store, and then maybe we'll have a larger, just a little bit of commercial right here. Let me figure out what that's going to look like. Alright, so I love putting a coffee shop anywhere I can. So I have a Starbucks. And one thing I've learned from my trip in Japan is that a convenience store is incredibly useful. So put that up again there, and I think it's always, I guess I could have it front facing, that makes more sense, but gonna kind of look, I need something like back here if I'm going to do that. So I can actually do something back here. I can pull out my own road if I want to. Why are you making me go at that angle? Just do it 90 degrees like you're supposed to. I got cold, so jacket is on. So let's look at what is happening. I need to tell these things not to use my what do you call it? The mod that tells you not to, not to give any notifications. Oh my god, that took so long to say. Here we have our somewhat completed area. So we've got our nice big tall buildings, looking fantastic, such good looking assets. Be such a cool place to live up here. We've got a big parking garage, quite ugly and pretty car centric, you may say, and that is true. But maybe at some point this could be a thing that the city decides could be used for better things. But for now, I'm going to move this up here This is too central, I think, for sure. I think it should be more out the way, but I will keep a parking garage here. Down here, like, it could be a bit nicer looking. But again, for now, all we have is just a Starbucks and a 7-Eleven over here for their convenience. And then if they want to, they can come down here for the larger area where they've got this Belks, which is a bigger store, and a few other little ones along here, including, you know, another coffee, got some burgers and some other thingamaboops around here. So that's looking pretty good, I reckon. I think I'm going to, while I'm here on this episode, I will do some more apartments along here. And we'll get some, not so much a like set along here, which is like one big development. I think I have like a bit more of a mix match of apartments that all came up along at the same time, and try to make this area look nice. I'm going to continue this key along, I reckon, at least to these rocks. And then we'll fill in a few along this little area. We'll get today. Alright, got my microphone a little bit closer today, so let's see if it picks it up. It's a little less tinny than it has been in the past. I brought this down to a more livable height. I think it could even go down a bit further now that I look at it. I think I might lower this down so that this is like right on the water's edge, so there's actually like a connection to the water there, so that you can actually use it as a actual swimming spot. And I think I will continue that down here as well. So for now, I think this will actually remain green space. I think this will be a park, and up here could develop out as actual buildings if needed in the future. I forgot to move this thing, but I'll move it now, and I'll move it up there. Where's the entrance? It's right there, so we'll move that right there, so they can go in that way, and probably this could also be buildings in the future, but for now, I think they can remain as green space. So it might look a little bit different than last time. I changed around some of the all of the lighting settings of post-processing. I kind of got lost in the weeds a little bit, so it does look a little bit different. I think it looks better. But, you know, I think that the contrast could be a little bit high. I'm not too sure. But did a lot of tweaking. It took me a little while to get to a place that I'm pretty happy with. And I think it looks pretty good now. But let me know if you have any thoughts on that. I think it's doing pretty good. So I'll leave it for now. Definitely in some areas, I think it has definitely improved the look. So hopefully you'll enjoy that. It can be a bit bright at times. Like it looks a bit what, like the whites can be a bit too bright, even after I've spent a little while trying to tackle that. But you know, once you get down a bit closer, it kind of helps that out a bit. Change the grass texture as well a little bit, just to make sure it looks okay. Built this one, which has had a little bit more texture, and when I changed the lighting settings, the one I had before made the grass look too green. What I also think I'll do is I'm going to paint the roads, all of the roads, I'm actually going to make, I like the look of a road that's a lot darker. And I think, especially now with these changes to the look, I think when we look back out here, I think having a higher contrast is going to help. So what I'm going to do is simply add a bit more black to these roads. And this paint tool here doesn't work perfectly. You can make them super black, but obviously we're not going to be doing that. Not making it red. You can color them if you wanted to, but I'm just going to try and add. If you don't make it too dark, because that's unrealistic. And I'll do the same here. Yes, no. Did I not select the right one? Has that worked? Kind of, but not the way that I'd want it to. Like, it's darkened them up, but it hasn't quite done it as consistently as I'd want. These ones have been darkened, you can tell, because they look a bit weird. But these are temporary ones anyway, and they were never supposed to look proper. So some have definitely improved, but some haven't, which is a little bit disappointing. I do not want there to be these parking spaces here, please. I think there's a do. Get rid of those. So, there are some other road repainting mods, but the fact that they haven't worked with these ones makes me think that maybe this isn't the right choice. So don't paint all of them. I'm going to make it a more subtle change. I'm going to do that because if not all of them are getting affected, then I don't want there to be too big a difference. So some of these I can maybe change to like this one. That theoretically will be the same. What do I want? Those look pretty cool actually. Wow, okay. This is not underground parking road. Wow, that's actually pretty cool. So I definitely don't want that as this one here. So these ones, do these ones go darker? They've done it a little bit, but whatever this one is, which might be the vanilla one, does not do it. So if I change them to these ones, that does help. I don't want the parking spaces to be there. I don't want people parking on them, but I also think that these ones look too narrow. You know, I think visually they look too narrow, but I don't actually want people parking on those. So I can maybe do that and then manually tell them to not park on there. I think it could be the solution. These ones are the 4-lane ones, which is fine for now. We can look at that as a thing in the future if you want to change those. I think as we start to seriously deal with traffic, then that'll be a thing to consider. Anyway, I've done a lot of talking for not doing a lot, but I think that's what I will do for now. Do that. That's a dark one as well. We'll do that there, and then further out we will use this one, which is a bit darker. I also like the lack of the crossings everywhere that the vanilla one gives you, so I'm fine to do that. Tell them not to destroy anything, and I'll just update all of these to this one without markings. Yeah, we'll keep that one. So they're not all consistent, but you know, I'm just going to kind of ignore that for now. It does definitely make the roads in general, when you're looking from above, it does make them darker, and that is what I wanted. So I'm happy to leave it like that, even if it's not totally consistent across all of them. These ones here, I actually changed these to be the lighter version, but I can probably update these to be those ones, and then they should look a little bit more accurate. These ones are a bit of a pain that they haven't done it properly. Like if I use these, they work better, so that should be fine. Don't reset your height, please. Is this one different from this one? Because that's given me, so that's the one with parking. It doesn't look like it has parking, but the I don't know why the icons would be, I don't know why the icons would be different. Come on, between these two then. Looks like that one should have parking, that one doesn't, but it doesn't look like there's enough room for parking, so don't know, I guess we'll see if people park there. Anyway, I'm just talking a bunch of shit. I should actually be telling you what's going on. So I just ran this road around here like this. It's along here like this with the key along here. I've already talked about that. I'll probably lower that down a bit more. Let's get some buildings down and then we can do some more interesting things. We'll see if we have something a bit more interesting, like a bit of a focus point building that I can use for this area. Although this area won't be as consistent in its style as this one, where it's got these 4 buildings all in the same style. This one will be a bit more realistic, where there's just buildings being built as they get built. So let's see what we can find. I was thinking an idea of having like a marina or something around here, but I think there was some building marina that it's probably the unique building. But these buildings, this one, medium and marina. That's kind. Yeah. I mean, I definitely don't want the. That's like that's to be a beach one, I'm guessing. The small marina too. So they'll probably be better over here as this type. But that looks horrible, man. Why do I have this? That little one's good. This medium one, I'm even missing an asset because that looks bad. If I'm honest, it's better to do it manually. This one could be a good idea, actually. Have this bay resort. I feel like that should definitely be used somewhere. There was one that I found. I think this one, which I actually quite like the look of, and I wondered if I could use it somewhere along here. Obviously, it's not quite practical to have sitting on these. But I think this is designed to be set back a little bit. So I was playing around earlier and I was thinking, if I have it like this, those are too high, obviously. If I could put it down, because this is a pedestrian and a bike road. So realistically, I could have it like this. That is too high still. That's too, the other one from high, that's a little too low for the key though. But I like the idea of that, and you could still have people go underneath this while having this set back against the key. That almost works, like it almost looks fine. Like if you didn't know, if I put like a road along here, you wouldn't actually know that it's supposed to be like up like this. I feel like I can make this work somehow. Can I put it like, I could put it along here, because this one is lower down. So I'm gonna like squeeze it up. I can't do it right down, but I could do it up like that. Luckily, it's lucky that we have a person right here, so we can judge the height. That is high enough for people to walk underneath and to bike underneath. And I think that's high, that's low enough for yachts to be able to go down there. I think actually, if we're gonna lower this down anyway, I think this will work. I think if I lower down the key and the path, then we'll be able to make this work. And I was planning to do that anyway. So I think I'll do that. And then we'll get back to you once I have done that, because it'll just be a little bit of a hassle to move these down. Okay, we're back. I've fixed up some of the keys, so now it's at a more nice level, so we can actually hop down here and walk right along or even dive into the water. We now have this marina up here, so we'll be able to get down and use these parking spots that come with it, as well as simply be able to use this as a hotel, probably as a restaurant, and people who are rich will be able to use this actually, as a proper marina, I might do some more things to make this area look a bit more park-like, but otherwise, I think this looks pretty good as a nice little patch of grass that people can come and sit up by and watch the water. And that's good use of the space. I was thinking maybe having a larger park, but having this here isn't too bad a use. I think that's a good amount of park around here, even with this in the middle. Let's see if I've got any yachts. No yachts. Boat. Oh, big ones. That's bigger than I was thinking, if I'm honest. So we got one of these. Do we have like sail with one of these old boys? We got some of these. I definitely need to download some more. I think some smaller ones as well, and just some ones with a bit more variety, I think. So normally these guys are packed up pretty tightly, but I think I just need a little bit more variety to do that. Ship. Oh, we can get one of these really old school ships. That's pretty cool, actually. One of the old junker ships, aren't they? I forget what they're called. Anyway, pretty cool to have one of these here. I think we're gonna keep one. Not you. You move out there. I feel like I should keep one of these. I have it as like a display piece. I could keep it like here, or on like a pedestal of some kind. I'm going to keep that there, and I think I might build something around it for it to sit on as actually like a display piece. I think that'd be pretty neat, actually. Ooh, it's going to be interesting. Again, do one of the big ones, which could be that could be used as like you can do like tall ship cruises and that. So there are places that will actually have these as tourist attractions. I actually like the sound of that, come to think of it. If I do invis evil main gate, just temporarily slap that down. If I go ship, please, and then put this down here, I'm going to keep that up here. Close. Oh, not there, not that thing. You go back, and I'm going to put this close up to the edge here, so it stays. Oh, comes with a little pole apparently. Keep that there, and that'll be like a tourist cruise attraction. Oh, maybe I'll put it there because again, that's the park. So I think over here is a bit more appropriate, and they will board and deboard. Is that the word? Deboard from there. Push it right up close, I think. But then sink it down. Should have a thingy to get across to it. Some kind of plank, but we'll deal with that another time. These breakwaters. I could use some breakwaters. I have to decide if I want, because I could build out, and I think I might actually build out a little marina that's actually protected, because right now this is open water, which is not what you'd want for a marina at all. So I think that'll be a thing that I will do. River port, what is this? Looking pretty nice. Got a sailing ship, that's that one, I assume. You've got the super yacht. Is that the same as that one? No, that is actually different, which is good. So we can have a couple mega yachts that will be parked on the edges here. You, in fact, should be twisting around as well. So not you. You go there, and then we'll do another one up here. Please. I like how they actually float and they bob around. That's pretty cool. I'll turn you around that way because you guys will crash. That's how they park them anyway. So a couple of those. We got any more things? Do maybe one of these cranes somewhere. River wharf. I'm gonna do any. What do you call it? Ferry shipwreck. Oh, that's pretty fancy. I could do any ferries anywhere for the city. I'm gonna put a ferry. At some point, maybe islands will be a thing that I will do. I'm gonna Put you right there. Cool. Little shipwreck for us. And I think that's it for now. I will download some more yacht assets to fill out this area and make this look a little bit more realistic, but happy with that so far. I think that's pretty cool looking. Let's put down some of those buildings that I was saying. So we're gonna have a few apartment buildings. I think a hotel will be good to have here. These will be residential buildings, but if we can have a hotel, it's hard to know, do I want to put one of the plopper buildings or one of the grow buildings? That's big, that's pretty cool. Don't want something that big and imposing for our section over here. Does look pretty nice. Good. Definitely vibe with that. Shame with the terrain tools. It's really hard to make anything look good without the use of retaining walls everywhere. Oh, that is like a centerpiece. It's kind of area has like a Miami vibe to it, I'm thinking. And then we've got Bay Hotel, which is also a kind of thing that you'd want. It's gonna be like a little hotel section, but there will be apartments here as well. I like the look of that. These ones, yeah, that's pretty cool looking. I could theoretically, it has an elevated road by the looks of it, but I think that could be, I think that changes to not elevate. No, okay. Oh, sorry, I have the mods to remove that road if I wanted to use that anyway. This one's kind of handy. Not too many hotels, do I? I could have 3 hotels, if I'm honest. Good to have like one, then another one over here, and then whoops, and then I could, I think that'd be all. Have these wave ones, which kind of look like the idea of. I was thinking of having a kind of century piece somewhere to use these, but I couldn't really figure out a good place. But I reckon maybe those 3 as hotels, and they are just. I can convert these to regular residentials if I want to have those as far as the game thinks as places that people live. But I will leave those as just ploppables for now. So we'll have those as hotels. Then we'll put down some more buildings. I think another high rise. That's a far more modern train than should be on these train tracks. But you can't really tell the game not to use assets that I've downloaded. So unfortunately, even though the train line that I created, I can find one of my trains along here. No, that's another very sleek modern one. But I have a train line. I'm not sure if I've shown that before. Because when I downgraded the trains, well, there's no passengers now that they're having cars. But now that I have, are they all in the same spot? Are they all stuck? No. Anyway, when I downgraded the train tracks, I also downgraded the trains to this quite old looking set. So that's a little bit more realistic looking. I did remove the grass from here. Pull these along. These are now the probably diesel powered trains that are currently running through these tracks, as we haven't electrified everywhere yet. Anyway, going back to what I was doing, so I'm going to get some tall buildings, I think, for along here. I don't want to be you don't want to have like too much of like a flat row, right? So you don't want to come along here and just have like a huge row along. You do want some variety visually to kind of break it up. Otherwise it can look a bit boring. Don't want any, but these are still going to be nice ones. But you want to scatter some lower density ones along here. So like have a like that. They're cool, interesting ones I can use. That one's pretty cool looking. Little triangle one. It's a bit taller than what I'm going for. It'd be interesting to have that. It's just in this tiny little square right here, this giant building. The Wilshire Tower, oh, that's pretty cool. I think I like the look of that. I feel like I could put it somewhere, but there's no room for it here. You could use these ones. Is there anything cool and more visually interesting for the last ones to fill up the tall area? That's pretty funky looking. Could have like one of these as a tall one, and then you have a little side one next to it. Move those a little way along. That kind of looks pretty visually interesting. And then we could have some shorter ones down here. And then maybe we try and like fit the tall ones so they all have their own view, right? So if we have another tall one on this side, it'll be here. And they'll be trying to get between, maybe one here, one more like over here. So just try and like think about where the sight lines are. I think I like the look of these. These are pretty funky looking guys. So I'll keep these. So I'll just have them up against here. Keep them fairly close. Good amount of people in them. And people are in this one, 250. I feel like it could be more, but always a lot of tweaking with the populations that need doing. So I think we'll keep those as our tall ones, and then we'll have just some kind of shorter ones. These are a good example. Those ones look nice. Probably get rid of those parking lots. I don't think any car parks there. And I think that's called a condo, is probably the kind of thing that I want here. Another one over here. I think I don't want any on this side of the road. I think this little area here will be just for these four. There's quite a Miami and Toronto, or even like Canada look this area, if I'm honest. These ones are the modern row house. It's called modern row house. They could be pretty funky as like a little medium density district just in here. I can push all these together maybe. Actually, I can build them out of these. Yeah, I think I'll manually make a few little areas where these can go. What about this guy? I think those are a little too small for this area. But I want to have something blocking that, because these guys down here are obviously very close to the beach, but don't get a direct view. I could do something like that, and then just line them up a little bit, and then run like a road in between. Maybe I have them more like that. Does that make any sense? Would you see that in real life? Do I want to have a few more packed in? I think so. I want them to follow the road a little bit more. Maybe we won't have two. We'll just keep the one, but have this as the one facing here. I'm not gonna have them probably pressed right up against this. This could be an area where we could maybe grab this parking one and then run it along there. And then they could be used for parking. Do they actually functionally work as parking? Who knows? But I don't know, I like the idea of them. Maybe I can you turn those around? No. So I have that. And then if I build it the opposite direction, does it build the opposite direction? It does. Okay, so I can have that. Maybe not like that. Maybe more like that. And it looks a little bit silly, but oh yeah, that's kind of a decent look. Just goes to black. So we'll pretend that is an underground parking area for these guys. And this one, we can have a road that goes behind, I reckon. If we grab this, probably one up a little bit more. So have a little alleyway down the back. Maybe have some more on this other side. What else do we have? Actually, I think this modern row house would actually be good for having along here. Just grab one of these and then twist it around again. Can I make that fit okay? Let's see. To move these a little bit closer, this guy I want to be the same height. I didn't even notice that these had little back areas. That's pretty cute. I don't want to really ruin that by phasing more housing into it, but I think I have to somewhat. So these have like a randomization on it of any kind? If I just copy, will they just be the same? There is a little bit of randomization, that's good. It's good to know. And oh yeah, there's this one over here as well, which I really should be putting next to these ones so they're all lined up properly. You guys get deleted. Are they all... I don't know if they're supposed... the boxes are supposed to line up. I guess so. It leaves a little bit to be desired as far as space on the sidewalk goes, but that's okay, I think. Now push these again together, and those look pretty funky actually. And if I do one along here, and I'll have a little shared courtyard, which I think is a pretty cute little housing idea. And if you kind of look at the back to line them up properly, like so. And if I grab one of these corner pieces, see if I can get these to look nice somehow. Push that one there, but this other corner piece definitely is not going to fit nicely. Can I get it to fit it at all? You know, I think that actually works. Not too bad at all. So now we have this little area with a bunch of people that all have their own little house and a shared courtyard, which is really cute. So these are one households. These corner ones, how much are they? That should be 4 people in these corner pieces by the looks of things. You delete, please. So realistic population, tell them to override and be 4. Now we get a few extra pieces. So even just here, part of this, I mean that tiny little glade park, that's pretty cute. If I click on that, that should update to be how many people can live there. But that looks very nice as a little area. And I reckon this could be commercial, actually. So that's very cute looking. Really love that, actually. That could be used in a lot of different like city themes, I reckon. I'm quite a big fan of that. But I reckon this should be commercial then. I can just get the vibe of that being in between all these areas. This will be a little park. So it could be plaza or it could be a park. Either way. Do I have a little plaza? That would be nice to be down there. I can put down one of these planters that just generate plants if I don't want to put them all manually, you know. There. That's actually a pretty nice option. Just slap one of those down and that gives people places to sit and just randomly has all that plants there without me having to place them manually. There are plenty of good options for parks if you wanted to, but I think I will keep it as that one. And maybe I will grab some separate plants though. Maybe not those ones, but if I can search for, I think, some like canaries, I can just pop a couple along here where there's still ground. One there. Yeah. Nope, that's a tiny itty bitty one. These smaller ones, like one like that. Too small. Floofy one like that. That's maybe a bit annoying to pedestrians actually. So is that better? Still a bit annoying, but less annoying. So I'll have that as just a little park down there in the middle. Let's find a little bit of commercial that can go here. So we'll find our regular suspects, such as our Lawson Family Mart. That's definitely the one that you want the most. The Family Marts and the 7-Elevens are the absolute most go-to of all of the convenience stores. They're really small little ones. There's a lot of the ones that I just use again and again. This is an older one. I think this area is definitely looking nicer than that. So what is this one? Is that another Moss Burger? Okay, Moe's Burger. Definitely saw. Oh yeah, I saw these in Japan. That's cool. Which one's the front? This doesn't matter too much. I'm gonna do that though. Is there anywhere else? All of these are the kind of the same ones I'm just putting down over and over again. There, like that. Keep it close, but not super close. So you can go get some takeaway and that. It's a long, thin one. Could be used for some places. Pier 1 imports. That's more of a officey place. What about, these are pretty good to use. Lush. Can I, those are good to go inside something else, but not just along here. Not somewhere that can be self-sufficient. These ones are okay if they're on a row, but they don't really go well together. Maybe I just use the 3. We've got a barbecue, we've got a burger, and we've got a convenience store. That's not too bad, I don't think. We'll see if we can add other places around, and then if we need to, we will put some more down. Or we can change them around if we need later on. Let me just do, this part should be concrete. And then this part will maybe leave as a park, I think. Unless we want, there's a good commercial, like a restaurant or something, I can go just there by itself, then we could do that. But for now, we'll leave that. And I'll make this whole square. I don't know if it's better to use the concrete blocks or just to paint it in. I guess if we're using a whole, if we're painting in a whole square just surrounded by roads, then something wrong with just painting it in. But if you want a clean line, then using these assets is definitely the way to go. So, I reckon I'll actually just add quickly some palm tree, some kind of tree down here. So, that one's looking a little bit sickly, but that's okay. I think too floofy because it needs to be quite thin. Just a little bit of a greenery patch in the middle. Quite like the look of that. Let's see, do I want any more housing? I don't think so. I think this is a good amount. The housing along the edge here, I'm going to get rid of it now to just clear the way, because that obviously wouldn't be there by this point. So we're going to clear that out and get a cleaner look. Actually, what we'll do, because at this point the highway will kind of get upgraded as I go along, but like I've been mentioning a fair few times, there are definitely different parts of the city that are stuck in different times, and this time is definitely, this is modern day. So this area in front of it, we're going to upgrade to the highway that they would probably have at this point. So if we find the 4-lane 2-way highway, we're going to upgrade just this little stretch here to be the upgraded version. And I'm sad that that's dark and not the upgraded light version that I would want, but whatever. What you're gonna do, huh? And I assume our traffic is just as bad as always. It's probably in the single digits. Yep, it's just 6%, which it doesn't really get any lower. Like, I don't think you can get down to like 4% even, really. I think like 5 and 6% is as low as the game can really realistically go. I was kind of liking the idea of sort of doing a lot more before we sort of start figuring out the traffic problem, but it's getting so bad so quickly just because there's no other ways for people to get around that I feel like we might actually need to, sooner than later, add in just a little bit of public transport. And I think we'll have to do it in, again, a way that I will do an older version and then we'll upgrade it over time, like I've been doing with a few other pieces of this city. So I think next episode we will be doing that, where I think I will start with just the littlest touch of a little public transport, just to maybe take a little bit of a load off the roads, just so we can get any kind of movement, because right now it's just nothing is going at all. There needs to be a little bit of building out here, but right now I don't know what that would be. I think before we go, I'll actually build out this little area here, like I said I would. So we'll add the little corners here. Okay, and I'm done. I think I'll leave it here for today, but man, look at this little area I've created. This is, I think, so cute. Absolutely, oh my god. Why would you be like that? I think this is amazingly cute. I would love to live in a place like this. If you have like a quiet space, it's not going to be super crowded, I don't think. But at the same time, you kind of get a feeling of you still got people around, you're still conveniently quite close to the city, which sometime soon will have some better public transport connection. Obviously, anywhere in this country, you're going to be pretty close to the city, but still, obviously, the different levels of urbanism that people want to live in, whether it's suburbs or if it's apartments or townhouses, and this definitely hits a certain type of person who would love to live here. And I would be one of them, honestly. This would be fantastic. I've tried to keep a little bit of the Asian-inspired roots. I think if I put like down like a third as well, I think we could just add a little bit more here to get a little bit more of that Southeast Asian looking look to it. Get some banana plants. Those are definitely things that you'll see around all over the place over there. So we've got these people like hanging out with their dog and having a barbecue. Places where you could sit. People have their own little distinct areas, so they could have their own little plants, and if they want to set up little pagodas or tables and chairs to sit out, or just leave it as is and just enjoy the park area. Got a little shrine here. And if we change it to night time, there is a little bit of these things to guide you on your way. And I imagine these are ones that will maybe be on for a little while, and then maybe they'll turn off later at night because you don't want too much light around here. That you could avoid, although you can't really exactly help it when you're in a quite urban area like this. Anyway, I absolutely love this. I'm going to end with some cinematics of this little area, and then we will, next time, I've got a few little plans for some other things that can go into the little area, as well as we'll start with some public transport for the first time, which I'm very excited for. I really love doing that, and seeing all the Sims take the trains and buses to where they need. So I will see you in the next episode if you like the sound of that. See ya.